Yo, what's up guys? Today I got the best picks for you in the WNBA and the NFL preseason. But first up, do me a huge favor, drop a like on this one. Take you 2 seconds, completely free. So hit that like button. And now let's talk about what happened yesterday. This is one thing I will always do. Recap the day before. And guess what happened, guys? We cashed out our slip yet again. I was talking about how the 4-man flex is one of the best slip types right now on Underdog Fantasy in particular. And look at this, guys. We went 3 out of 4. The only player that missed was Shepard right here. But green. A lot of people were doubting, saying Caitlin Clark on the under. I don't feel good taking a star player on the under. I told you guys, trust me, lock this one in. And guess what happened? It's not just yesterday, guys. The Underdog Fantasy method has been cooking for us quite a bit. This was a couple weeks ago. I still have the screenshot up, but we just had a crushing week on Underdog Fantasy, and we're going to keep moving forward. But today I actually got picks on PrizePicks. I'm going to talk about exactly when you want to use each sportsbook or a DFS app in this case to your advantage. But first up, let's talk about how you guys can claim some extra money, some free bread. $300 of free bread, that is, by signing up for Rebet, PrizePicks, and Underdog Fantasy using code BAM on PrizePicks and Underdog and using code FFBAM over on Rebet. The way you guys do this, it's super simple. All you got to do is sign up for these apps using code BAM, PrizePicks, and Underdog. And once you play your first $5, you could get up to $200 on the both apps combined. Now, why is this super important, especially right now? Because the NFL season is just around the corner, guys. I'm stacking cash in every single one of my accounts on basically all apps, but mostly Underdog and PrizePicks, because these are the ones I'm going to go in hard on when it comes to NFL season, and then we are going to profit big time. If you guys are new here, you will not know that the NFL season is actually our best sport. We love esports all year round, but when it comes to the NFL, these few months or these 5 months or so are just money-making time. So make sure you guys are locked in on Underdog and PrizePicks, and if you just take the next 5 minutes out of your day, sign up for both of these apps using code BAM. If you are new to the app, of course, you can get up to $200 just logging in using my code and starting making some money. On Rebet, it's the same thing. Once you guys sign up with code FFBAM, you can double your deposit up to $100. And Rebet is very good for straights. They've got a whole bunch of markets available, and it is available in almost every single state. So lock in there, use code FFBAM. And now let's move into the picks for today. So today we're going to do some PrizePicks plays, and these are going to be the 4 picks. If you guys just want to go click off now because you don't care about the explanation, be my guest. But let's talk about exactly why we're taking these plays and locking these ones in on PrizePicks. Starting it off with the NFL preseason duo right here of Bo Nix and Courtland Sutton. Now, why do we like these guys in particular? Well, there's a reason. And that reason is the one word that you've probably heard me say thousands of times on this channel, the word correlation. And correlation in this case means that we are taking 2 players who are very likely to green together or to go red together. In this case, by the way, it's a 4-man power play, not a 4-man flex play. And why is this likely to go green together? Well, if Bo Nix, say he plays 1 drive or 2 drives, very common for the starting lineup to go out there and play 1 or 2 drives. Say Bo Nix gets 50 or even 60 or 70 yards in the time that he plays tonight against Green Bay. Well, what's the odds that Bo Nix gets 70 yards, and in those 70 yards, when he's obviously playing with the starters, Courtland Sutton doesn't get at least 9 of them? It's very unlikely. So what does this mean? This means that when Bo Nix goes on the over, if Bo Nix gets 50 yards or so, it is extremely likely that Courtland Sutton will get at least 9 yards. So this means they're likely to go green together or to go red together. It goes both ways, right? If Bo Nix only gets, say, 20 yards, he plays 1 drive, it doesn't go well, and then he gets taken out, it's not that likely that Courtland Sutton will get to 9 or more yards, right? He might not get one of the catches. He might even get 0 yards, right? So if Bo Nix goes under, it's likely that Sutton goes under. If Bo Nix goes over, it's likely that Sutton goes over. And this is very helpful when constructing a power play because you don't care how many you get right if you get some wrong. All you care about is if I get all of them right, I want to get paid as much as possible. So in this case, we're stacking this in as a power play. If both of these go green, then we will get paid. And one reason why I like this one, if we just go to the Broncos right here, you can see in their last game, of course, Bo Nix didn't play, but Courtland Sutton was very involved. And he actually did catch a nice, long 40-yard pass in the first quarter. He ended with 60 yards here, so we got 20 yards even if you don't count that big catch. And that was obviously catching passes from Jarrett Stidham. Now, and this is something you'll typically see in preseason, first week or first game, they probably won't put out all their starters, right? Maybe just a couple of them. And then as week 2 and week 3 come out, the starters will likely get at least 1 or 2 drives out there. Honestly, if you're thinking like an NFL coach, it just makes no sense not to give your starters, that kind of warm-up practice, reps, even if it is just preseason, ignoring that would be pretty stupid. So that is how we're leveraging correlation. And I want to make this one thing super clear, right? This slip is paying out. Here, let me see if I can copy and move some stuff around real quick. This slip on PrizePicks is paying us out, not all this. On PrizePicks, this is paying us out 9.5x for a 4 out of 4 power play, right? On Underdog Fantasy, if you lock this exact same thing in, it'll probably pay you 9.1x for a 4 out of 4 power play. Or they call it standard, but I'm just going to call it power play. So this is super important because I honestly oftentimes come on here and talk about how Underdog Fantasy is the easier app to profit on, and it is. But when you're not running correlation slips, that is, right? If you're running correlation, you want to be on PrizePicks. Like here, I just showed you guys. This is equivalent, basically the same slip. We got Bo Nix and Cortland Sutton, and then 2 random WNBA players. I wouldn't recommend these bets. These are just random bets I threw in there. These are obviously two bets we're going to talk about soon. But this, as a 4-man, is paying out $912 for a $100 entry. So 9.12x. Now, on PrizePicks, this exact 4-man, of course, with different WNBA slips, is basically the same when it comes to correlation. It's paying out 9.5x, right? So this is a more valuable pick over on PrizePicks. And this is why I always say, guys, you want to be on as many apps as possible so you can take advantage where the app is weakest, right? PrizePicks is weak when it comes to blocking correlation methods. They really don't block the correlation that strongly. Their payout shifts are much weaker or much softer than apps like Underdog Fantasy, apps like Better, apps like even FanDuel, right? So that's why we take a lot of correlated bets on PrizePicks. On Underdog Fantasy, they are literally just paying out 12x for a standard 4-man if you don't do correlation, and they're paying out a ridiculous amount for the 4-man flex play. But I talk about that basically every single day. So if you guys want to hear about why Underdog Fantasy is great, just listen to any of my other videos recently. We have been cooking on Underdog Fantasy. Now let's get into the next 2 picks here. It's gonna be Veronica Burton on the over at 3.5 rebounds. This is another elite play on PrizePicks. I found this one using DailyGrindFantasy, which is a tool that helps you find just really good plus EV bets. And what does that actually mean? Because I know that word gets thrown around a lot on the betting spaces, plus EV and arbitrage. You hear these words and you're like, yeah, I don't know what the fuck that means. Let me explain it real quick what plus EV is. So it shows you Veronica Burton here on the over at 3.5 rebounds. It's giving a 53.7% chance to cash in this pick. And I like this a lot, right? Why is it giving that percentage, you might ask? Well, it's checking in, reading in all the data from all the other sports betting sites, including PrizePicks, and it realizes PrizePicks has this line at 3.5, just like DraftKings, just like FanDuel, just like Bovada. But FanDuel, DraftKings, and Bovada actually have a price on this, and they say this is at -145, -125, -135, right? So all of these apps averaging to like -135, that is really where the fair value is for this, because you can take 3, 4, 5 other sports books, and then this is what you're seeing, right? This is around a -135 to -140 pick, but on PrizePicks, you're just getting it for even odds, right? So obviously you want to lock in the over there on PrizePicks, and it's not just the numbers that look good for this pick. You look here on the stats as well. She's hit this in 80% of her last 5 games. Very, very profitable look here. And on the head-to-head, it's also looking green. Last game she played against this team literally less than 10 days ago. She got 6 rebounds, and today the line is only at 3.5. I like this one a ton. Now, let's check this one into our PrizePicks entry. I want to just keep this rolling. There we go. Yeah. Last play of the day is going to be Shakira Austin on the over, though, at 16.5 points. This is probably one of the better picks you'll ever see. I know the head-to-head matchup is tough, right? I know this is not a very easy defense to go up against. Of course, Minnesota is the best team in the league, right? Nobody is questioning that right now. If we look at this, though, she has been absolutely on fire. I do expect this one to be a relatively even, close to this line. She's averaging this season, I'll show you guys, she's averaging this season around 17, but in the last 10, she's averaging well over 21 points a game. And now, this line is at 16.5, right? So, of course, she's expected to drop from the average 21 because this is a very tough defense to face off against. But that being said, I still do like this one on the over at 16.5. I think she could easily sneak into 17 or 18 points in this game. Despite it being a tough defense, she's going to be the main one that, this Washington team is pushing through, and she has hit this in more games than not this season. You can see an uptick in minutes as well, uptick in points as a relation to that. It all makes sense. It is all looking for a whole bunch of green flags right here. So I like Shakira Austin, and now putting this in on PrizePicks, guys, look at this. We're using a correlated duo, Bo Nix, Cortland Sutton. And why is this correlated? Let's go into it one more time. If Bo Nix gets 50-plus yards, it is very, very likely that Cortland Sutton will hit his 8.5 receiving yards, guys. You can do this in college football, NFL, Canadian football, UFL, whatever you want to do, right? There is much more advanced methods of correlation, but this is a very basic one, and this is one that I love for tonight's games. Now, these are our 2 plays. This is literally the only reason why this is a 9.5x instead of a 10x, because obviously a 4-man power play would usually be 10x. I still like this at 9.5, guys. It is paying us more on PrizePicks today than on Underdog Fantasy, so you guys know where we're going to lock it in on PrizePicks. That being said, we're still on both apps. We're still making money on both apps. That's all I got for this one. I appreciate y'all watching the video. Let's make some money on the NFL preseason and WNBA today over on Friday.